You're listening to
Wrestling to the Max.
Alert. Clear all channels.
This is an exclusive
Pay-per-view review.
How you like that?
And your hosts, Gary Vaughn, Sean Garmer, and Paul Vieser.
Alright, this is Wrestling Max special number 10, and we are talking about Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor 13, the review. We're talking about a few other things too, Gary.
That's right, they are, and that's going to be a great show to talk about, but plus we have some other ROH news involving their TV deal with Destination America. We'll be getting into that. Plus, guess what, guys? We are also going to be talking about Hulk Hogan. I know. It's been the talk of the week, and everybody wants to hear about it. So we're not going to wait till our regular Thursday show. We're going to jump into Hulk Hogan tonight. We're going to talk everything that's going on with this, kind of give our opinions and, all the different, things that are involved in this. We're looking forward to it.
We did get to break the news, sort of, on the podcast on Thursday, if you didn't listen to that yet. So
yeah,
that was kind of funny to be talking about Lucha Underground, and in the middle of it, I just happened to be on Twitter and go, hey, they apparently fired Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Especially, all of us had some pretty interesting responses, and this is the heat of the moment. Getting into other things, wrestling, and now we're talking Hulk Hogan. So, we really didn't know the full story. So this is our opportunity, now knowing more of the full story, we're going to jump into the whole conversation. And of course, we're also going to talk about the fact that Sean got to actually go to a live NXT event. We're going to let him kind of talk about it, how fun it was, and everything involved. I'm really curious to hear more about that. Plus, we're also going to talk some more G1. That's right, this tournament's been going on, and Sean's been into it heavy, covering every day that it's been out. But guess what? Me and Paul also have a few things we probably want to say here. So we're going to all kind of chime in about the G1 tournament as well. So lots of great stuff to talk about on this special. And we're really looking forward to you guys with your feedback. So we want to let you know, if you are listening live on Spreaker.com, we want to allow you to also get a hold of us through chat on that. There's a chat bubble on your little, your little account there. Go to that chat bubble as you're listening, and you can chat with us. Plus, you can also call in. Sean, what's that number?
972-591-8620.
And, of course, if you feel like it, you can send us an email as well, or even hit us up on the Facebook page. There's lots of ways to contact us. If you want to read the description, Sean has more of that information in there. But please, hey, if you're just ready to talk some ROH, right now is the best time to do it. But, why don't we go ahead and get this thing started? Well, let's go ahead and talk about Ring of Honor.
Get it, Paul?
Oh, sorry, I'm so used to a music drop there.
Yep.
So, the show opens. It's Silas Young taking on Will Ferrara. Will has a couple wins over Silas, which was the reason for this, even though Silas has been much more heavily involved with Dalton Castle recently. The match goes 8 minutes, if I had to take a guess. Silas Young comes out victorious after a misery. Not a fine opener, just nothing super thrilling. Plus, Will Ferrara doesn't do a lot for me, so.
I'm with you there. It was sort of this could have happened on TV opener. Nothing too special. The boys kind of came in for Dalton Castle at the end and got involved because that's still going on, thankfully. And yeah, Will Ferrara was fine. He got to show some stuff, and he kind of worked well with Silas, but it wasn't anything, too spectacular.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. It's To me, this was okay, like you guys are saying. The thing I think I'd take away from this is the fact that we did say when we previewed this show was the fact that this would be a great opportunity for Silas to really take control, to dominate, to show, he's a bad mofo, which we already know he is. But we want to, see him do that. And he didn't really get a chance to do that. At times, he, kind of looked, like Ferrara had just as an equal chance, which is okay. You want the young guys to get over, but the fact of the matter is I think they kind of missed an opportunity really to make Silas look dominating, to make him look very intimidating for Mr. Dalton Castle. And he didn't get a chance to really do that. His boys were involved. That works, whatever. Kind of continues the storyline. But I don't know about you guys, but I felt like this was a missed opportunity. I don't think it went as well as it should have, if you ask me personally.
I don't know if I go so far as saying it was missed opportunity, but, certainly I think Silas does need some momentum getting going again, seeing as he hasn't won a lot recently, and now he just looks like an angry guy who can't get the job done. And we'll talk more about somebody else who can't get the job done, and I think it's hurting him a lot more than ROH thinks, but that's later on.
Yeah, my question to you, Paul, is okay, so he's not only, having trouble with these young guys, the whatever Daltons, what do they call him, the boys, or whatever they call
boys,
them. Yeah, just the boys. But he's also yelling at the fan. This is the same fan he's been yelling at pretty much, I think. I think they said it was a repeat fan. I'm trying to remember. There's a guy yelling out in the audience, and of course, got that going on too. So there's a lot to this. He's an angry guy. The reason I feel like it's a missed opportunity, this is just my personal opinion, I want to see him dominate. I want that momentum that you're talking about, Paul, and I think that they're missing that. Now, I get it. You want Ferrara to look good. That's fine. I just think that maybe choose someone else than Ferrara. If you need that dominating moment, I think it's here.
Well, ROH has never really been about straight-up squashes either. They usually even their younger guys will get some moves in just to keep it competitive. And that's been true since they opened the doors way back in 2002 now. It is, it is what it is. It's sort of a drawback to that kind of booking in a promotion, but I don't know if it hurts them too much overall right now, but this certainly was a much needed boost. I'll give you that much.
See, Paul's already exposing me for my ROH knowledge. No, it's
just
fine.
Because I have no life and I've watched an obscene amount of wrestling, No, it's fine.
No. I respect it, and I enjoy this feedback because this teaches me a lot. Over the past year, I've been learning more and more. Ring of Honor has been definitely a blast for me to learn about. I'm still a baby when it comes to learning about New Japan, and so these are great things. I need to know these things to understand the psychology, the way the promotion works, and that's interesting. And you know what? I kind of like it to an extent, but to me, once again, I think Silas is so great. I want to see him be a big bad boy.
I completely agree with you. When you're the nephew of Stan Hansen, people expect things.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
They even looks like they cut out that match that we thought they had added at the last minute too.
Dijak and Watanabe was the dark match. Dijak went over in. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
But the next match after Young and Ferrara is Cedric Alexander and Moose. Cedric Alexander, of course, has recently turned heel. He's the one who ended Moose's undefeated streak. He's proven the wrench in his career, as Veda Scott likes to point out at every turn, and ROH likes to point out in that video package. I thought this was actually a lot better than I think it had any right to be with and maybe it's just because every time Moose has a match, and as much as I like the guy, I underestimate him, and then he comes out and does stuff like this. I thought this was pretty good all the way around. Cedric ends up getting the win after some distraction and another wrench shot to Moose. Cedric even beats up Prince Nana, who's doing commentary ringside. He throws Moose's other manager into the barricade, Stokely Hathaway, and that's what does it.
Yeah, you can still see that Moose has some issues with pacing, and the greenness shows here and there. There's a little bit of stiltedness with what he was doing. He kind of felt like there was times where he was really smooth, went through things well. There was other times where it was kind of like What am I doing here? Oh yeah, and then Alexander would come and kind of just, okay, we're going to the next segment. Other than that, I mean, his drop kick almost looked like he was going to take Cedric's head off, literally. I thought he did well. We got the finish. I think we had kind of predicted that it would be another nefarious thing for Alexander, because this thing is kind of just now starting. You had Prince Nana at ringside to kind of add more things, which I liked. So it's gonna be interesting to see where they go from here. It was a good match.
Yeah, I agree, and it was one of those matches where I was kind of curious if it was going to happen like either of us said, and Paul pretty much called it. The end spot with the wrench, and I didn't have a problem with that. Hey, sometimes if you predict something, it's great. At least you get a chance to see it, kind of unfold. The one thing that I will take away from this is it's been a very interesting ride with Cedric Alexander, getting a chance to see him do that heel turn, progress as a heel, and I think he did a great job in this, because not only did he cheat to win, but he's also attacking people, announcers, he's attacking the manager, he's doing all these things to really get everybody mad and angry at him, and I think he is growing as a heel, and it's getting more believable. I was having a hard time believing Alexander as a heel from what he once was. He was such a great, fan pop, for me at least, watching him before this heel turn. I enjoyed him. He was an exciting guy, and now you get a chance to see him on the other side of the fence, and he did a great job in this match. And Moose is still learning, like Sean said. He's still green, but he's got so much potential, and I see it in him. I just can't wait till we see him in another year, see what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be the fun part, is just watching him grow year to year, and if he ever does make a jump anywhere. But I almost felt like this match was more of a coming out for Cedric Alexander, who showed he could carry somebody like a Moose to a pretty good match. And I don't think his wrestling talent has ever been in doubt, but certainly on the character side, I find him infinitely more interesting as a heel. Maybe that's because it's still new, but that's where I'm at with him right now, personally.
I kind of agree with you. It was much more about a Cedric Alexander thing, him getting to hit Nana and then freaking go after Hathaway too, added to the heat, and I hope that whenever they do promos with Moose, the one that they show, that's about as short as it needs to be, because man, he's not as bad as Brock, but he sounds pretty bad when he talks.
Yeah, when you're an NFL player, you don't really have to sound too intelligent at times. You just
no, it's not intelligence. It's just that voice, man. It's not one of those like that just really sounds great when he's talking.
I mean, I thought it was fine until he decided to end it with saying Moose over and over again.
Yeah.
That just seemed so unnecessary.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I think you're right on that, and he'll learn. It's a growth, and hopefully someone will get in his ear and help him, and maybe get him in that direction. Same goes with Cedric Alexander. I think, like I said, he's doing a great job as being a heel, just showcasing it. No, you guys already said it. No doubt that his ring, presence is known. Great job, helping Moose in this match. I'm looking forward to seeing more from Cedric Alexander. Before this, like I said, I could have never seen this guy really be the heel. I just looked at him. He looked like a total baby face, top to bottom, for me at least. And he's just doing a great job showing me what the other side of the fence looks like.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Speaking of the other side of the fence, Roppongi Vice coming from the way other side of the fence in Japan to take on Briscoes here. I really loved this match a lot. I mean, at times it got a little boring here or there, but they kept the pace up pretty good. I think Beretta was just absolutely incredible in this matchup, but the Briscoes end up coming away, pinning Beretta with a Jay Driller and a Froggy Elbow to get them the victory. But what'd you guys think about it?
Yeah, this was fun. I think it was, then commentary, talked about it and everything. It was much more about reestablishing the Briscoes as a serious deal in the tag division. They won as we kind of figured they would, because, Roppongi Vice is kind of going back and forth. I really enjoyed the match. They had some fun interactions, had fun at everything. Everything you'd want in a tag match. I think you got that here. And, this is one of the more standout matches on the show, I think.
You couldn't expect anything less, if you ask me personally. I think we've already talked about this when we previewed it. I mean, both these tag teams are established. They do such a great job. It was going to be a hard choice to pick who was going to win, and it was. I mean, I think I'm not sure my pick. I think I'd probably pick Repugni Vice if I'm not wrong. But it was just because of the fact they're New Japan. They're on a momentum right now a little bit, if you ask me. And I think that they're just a great tag team in general. And what does it really solve for them to lose? Well, nothing. But does it really hurt them? No, still. I mean, they're okay losing to the Briscoes. I just think that, it was everything we expected. Solid match. Fun. It was very entertaining. And so, hey, they definitely got their money's worth.
Mm. I believe both of you guys picked the Briscoes, and I was the odd one out to pick Repugni Vice.
Okay.
I think I kind of liked it more than the 4-way later, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it all depends on what you're into. This was much more your classic tag team bout. The other one is loosely organized chaos. And I mean that in the nicest way possible.
Yeah, exactly.
They move right along after this, though, to Dalton Castle taking on Adam Cole, baby. And I loved this match. Dalton Castle does his best Freddie Mercury impression at the beginning. It's wonderful. Adam Cole is over as hell, and I love Adam Cole so much it hurts a little bit, and he ends up getting the win here. Really good match. As much about Dalton Castle getting to show his stuff as Adam Cole getting to show that he's still the top guy running, or one of the top guys running around this joint. But what'd you guys think about it?
Oh yeah, but this was Dalton Castle was just as over. Man, they were going nuts over this guy. I mean, and well deserved because he is just quickly rising through the ranks there. I mean, the finish was exactly what she needed it to be. Adam Cole needed a big clean win to kind of be able to further establish why he should be important to the Kingdom. And we talked about how, and they talked about it on this show, how Maria's looking outside of the Kingdom to have their next world title contender guy. So Adam Cole's already feeling slighted, and this was a great way to cement. Okay, look, you're not gonna take me seriously. Well, I'm showing you why you should still keep me there. Castle did everything. See, there's a lot of people that just don't like his gimmick. And I can understand that it's, different strokes for different folks or whatever. That's still a touchy thing for some people. They just don't like those kinds of gimmicks. But the fact that it's so different from other comedy gimmicks, he's so serious in the ring, he's so good, he can wrestle anybody. And if you just take that gimmick for what it is, a great thing to have an entrance for, a great thing to have the boys there fanning him and doing some comedy, which is great. It's amazing to me that you have a guy that's that solid, that crisp in there, and he can pull off a gimmick like that. It's so cool.
You said it just right, Sean. That talent pulling off the gimmick, it's what makes it work. If this guy was not very good, if he was green, there's no way that gimmick gets over with anybody. No one cares, but just his talent in the ring, being as crisp as he is and just as entertaining, he just oozes that charisma. I don't know who says that, Vince McMahon or somebody who says oozes charisma. That's exactly what Dalton Castle does. That's why I'm a big fan of his. There's another guy, I believe it's a Lucha Underground that we've talked about before that has a similar gimmick. I don't remember his name, but I think that he's not too bad at it either. But just both these guys in general, just talking about this match, they put on a good match. And I like the fact that, once again, the announcing team did just what Sean said. They put into the reason why Cole is doing what he's doing and doing his best to win this match, is he's proving the fact that he should be the number one guy in the Kingdom. And if they're looking for somebody else, then, they're doing the wrong thing. I think, overall, just what we said in the preview, neither of these guys losing hurts them. I don't think Castle, winning or losing hurted him. Same with Adam Cole. I personally, I want to Castle to win, but Cole is a smart choice because he is coming from, injuries, getting back into the shape of things, and he's got to look strong. And Castle, it's okay. It's no problem for him to lose.
Cole's also one of the guys you can very quickly have challenge Lethal for either championship in a pinch, too.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there is that going for him, too. But, I mean, Dalton Castle will get there eventually. It's just he's still working his way up through the ranks. I like where he's at right now. This was a perfectly paced match, in my opinion. It was a great little mid-card act that got the fans all riled up going into the next match, which had ACH taking on Adam Page in a no disqualification match with BJ Whitmer on commentary, who announces that he had a knee surgery as he hurt his ACL, so he won't be wrestling for a while, which made Steve Corino happy, made the live fans extremely happy until they had to listen to him talk. And there was plenty of Colby abuse to be had. So all that's taken care of. These two went out there, had a really good match, though. The finish, I thought, was incredible. I'm pretty sure ACH might have died a little. But there were some troubles in this one at the beginning that sort of took me out of it. There's a couple of miscommunications. When ACH does the lap around the ring to go hit Adam Page, Page barely hits him. He flies into the barricade like he's made of Super Bowl material, which is what ACH does. But when you camera very clearly catches that, it messes everything up.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you guys think about this one, though?
Yeah, there could have been a little bit more fire from ACH. I mean, there was a little bit, but I felt like for what this feud has been, the mood, the interactions didn't match that. I got the dick part from Page. I got the him trying to control the match and making sure that ACH didn't get to wrestle his high flying style and all that stuff, and that's fine. ACH still got to do some of his stuff here and there, but it wasn't. The whole point was that he basically forced ACH to wrestle the way that he does, and this is why he's able to kind of get the win. Yeah, he does some nefarious stuff here, which I don't know if that's really helping Page at all, but I guess the feud continues. But how many times are we going to have ACH lose these supposed to be feud defining or just supposed to be big time matches for him, and he loses? I mean, at some point you got to move the needle one way or another.
Yeah, it is just that, and I don't know, man. ACH is a great wrestler. There's something about him right now. It doesn't move a needle for me. I don't know what he's got to do, what he's got to figure out, but it's just not that much. This match was okay, but to me, once again, I think Page is really still in the show here, in the feud overall. I mean, everything he says, everything he's doing, that's the focus almost to me. At least that's what comes across from my TV screen. How about you guys? And of course, Whitmer and all the things that they're doing with the Carino boy and all that. I mean, it's just that's so much more interesting, way more interesting than what ACH is doing, even so far with the match. It was a decent match. It was what it was. I don't think that it was bad. But once again, I just was focused more on what Page was doing. So it was what it was.
Yeah, and ACH not going over here presents an interesting quandary because he does keep losing these matches, and I don't know how much longer you're going to be able to keep fans interested in trying to follow his story unless you give him that big win sooner rather than later. So either this isn't over, as Sean was suggesting, or this is telling us that there is something much larger down the line for ACH to get a victory over that we just don't see yet. But I think he's got to get that big win before the end of this year. And if they're waiting for Final Battle to do that, then that might be a thing that we're just going to have to deal with. But hopefully they have the right story and all that going on, because I don't know if the big win over Adam Page anymore is going to be enough to keep everybody interested,
Yeah, you're right. And the one question I have for both of you guys is, who do you think ROH really wants to get behind, Page or ACH? Because I mean, it seems like Page is getting a lot of the limelight here.
I think short term right now is Adam Page. I think long term is ACH. They wouldn't be investing all this heat and build up into him finally getting the big one unless they had something in mind for him. Whether that is being one to lift one of the championships off Jay Lethal at some point, or whether it's just a big win or a series of big wins that he strings together next year or something like that. You never know. But I do think they see value in Adam Page. Adam Page is entertaining on the microphone. I've enjoyed his promo work during this feud. I think he works really well with BJ Whitmer, actually. Like, the little exchanges, they don't even have words going in between them on the outside and stuff. Just, it works for me. So hopefully, it looks like they're more intent to break Page off sooner rather than later. But I like him running around with BJ right now, to be honest.
Yeah. And it wasn't you, Sean, that said not long ago, or just not long ago, probably last Thursday, or even last special we did when we previewed this show, that ACH is probably the guy that will be taking off that the TV title from.
That's probably Paul. Yeah, we've had this.
Was it Paul? Okay.
That ACH should be one of the guys going for that TV title, but. He's in a feud right now. I don't have a problem with the feud continuing. I just hope that,
What happened?
Apparently they're having Sandow be Cena and Randy Orton now.
Oh,
I just saw a picture of it. It's ridiculous.
Oh, no. We have more for you on Thursday.
Yeah.
That's just great. But that'll go into our Hogan discussion later because they get affected too, poor guys. But anyway, yeah, there's a long list of people that can go for that TV title for Jay Lethal, so that's what's interesting here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, that the talk of me having a tournament after Lethal won the title didn't come to fruition. So maybe they're just trying to invest in as many challengers, both in the world title and the television title, to continue keeping Lethal against a fresh face. So that way it doesn't get overly stale. Although, once we get to the main event, I'm sure that Roderick won't be going away anytime soon. But before we get there, we have a four-corner survival tag team match for the ROH World Tag Team Championships, with the Addiction defending against Red Dragon, the Kingdom, and War Machine. And as I said earlier, this is loosely organized chaos masquerading as a tag team match. Everybody, it breaks down about 5 minutes in, and suddenly everybody's doing everything. And, the best spot was Hanson doing the somersault dive onto everybody. That looked like somebody died in there somewhere. Don't know who. And the Kingdom, super kicking everybody, just keeps me thinking that the Young Bucks are going to get a little mad at them. Because that's gimmick infringement, bros. This also had Adam Cole on commentary, who kept the Kingdom line going. The best part, of course, was him saying, "Time to go to work, Kevin," and he just walks away from the match entirely. Adam Cole is just the greatest. The Addiction end up retaining with Celebrity Rehab, pinning, I think, Taven after Red Dragon hit Chasing the Dragon on him. What do you guys think about this, though?
This was fun. Like I said, I didn't like it as a match more than the other tag. It was a bit too chaotic at times. I would kind of get lost in what was going on. I liked Adam Cole on commentary. He added a lot to the match as far as telling you about the tag teams and the wrestlers and all that kind of stuff. It was good. It was fun. There was there was spots. It just, it's kind of like when we talk about those junior tags in New Japan. It's kind of like they're just everywhere, and you either really get into them or they're kind of just there, or you don't get into them. It's one of those.
Yeah, this is just a great way to get all the tag teams to be a part of the show and just put them together and let them go out there and do their thing. I think we all expected a cluster here, which, it did become that at times. So, if nothing else, it was entertaining because of the fact that you did get to see all these tag teams. But on the other hand, not a match you want to really, rate when it comes to great. Nonetheless, you get a decent match here just for fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think you sort of still get to everything going. I mean, War Machine's continually chasing, Red Dragon's still around. I mean, most of the focus, I think, was on the Kingdom here, and trying to continue everything they got going on for them, more than it was about the tag team titles.
Yeah,
But at any rate, Jay Lethal defends the world title against Roderick Strong in the main event. This goes to a 60-minute time limit draw, and I think Larry hit it on the head in his review of 401. This was good. I feel like they were handcuffed at times. They had to go 60 minutes. They knew they had to go 60 minutes, so there's a lot of rest holds. Not to say that it didn't have its fun sprints here and there, but it just felt like they were handcuffed instead of going out there and trying to have this awesome match that both these guys really deserve for the years they've been having. But Roderick Strong isn't going anywhere anytime soon, obviously, taking Jay to 60 minutes.
I got through about 30 minutes of this and I couldn't anymore because I've watched so much wrestling in the past 5 days that it was too much for me to sit there and watch a 60-minute time limit draw. The part that I got to, it was good. I never felt like it was probably going to get to like the great or awesome status or whatever. You know, I think that's what people were hoping for, and they made it seem that way as they should on TV, but I don't think it got there.
Yeah, I watched this pay-per-view pretty late, actually. And so, as I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, okay, this is, going to be a real awesome match. And as I'm watching it, I'm noticing that I'm not so focused, and then just kind of wavering here and there, and to realize that it did become a draw, I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, that's why I was just kept waiting and waiting and waiting for these big moments to get that pin and see who's going to win, which I thought Lethal would win. But it going to the draw was it was not a bad thing. I just kind of thought, man, this is kind of going on and on and on, and I didn't realize. I guess I didn't look at my watch or anything to realize, what time we were at on this show. So. And overall, it makes sense. You've got to have the draw. Both these guys, you want to look strong. Roderick is the guy that's on fire right now, and he's had great matches this year. You definitely, maybe don't want to put him down for the pin just yet. You want to keep this going. So not a bad way to end it. I think I kind of agree with Jim Ross when he says time limit draws are still okay to use. We don't have to pretend like they're old people things. I agree, and this is not a bad way to get both guys a decent match, but at the same time, no one goes home.
My computer's being awkward right now. I don't know if we lost the show or. It's like making Firefox not respond. I just got the flash thing. I don't know if it's still running. Hold on. Yeah, it's still going. Sorry.
Okay.
It just freaked me out for a second. Because I know if I hit stop, I hit continue. Sometimes when I do that, instead of because if you hit stop plugin, it kills the show automatically. Sometimes when I hit continue, it still keeps asking me, and then eventually will kill the show anyway. So thankfully that didn't happen.
See, there you go, people. You get to realize that this is live radio, and we are not joking when we say that. So when the computer kind of flips out, we get freaked out. So at least we're still on. But yeah, in general, to me personally, I don't know what everybody else on the internet said about this, but time limit draw was okay with me.
No, I got no problem with the finish. When you're talking about straight match quality and something that really could have broken out and been a match of the year, or certainly at least in the talk for it, this fell short of that mark by a lot. It was still fine. I mean, keeping Roderick strong makes a lot of sense. You need to keep all the challengers looking as good as they can against Lethal so that we can keep using him for however long you want to have him going with the double champion thing. So keeping the fresh cadre of people for him to fight and making them look like they deserve to be in the fight with somebody as decorated right now as Jay Lethal is, this makes a lot of sense. So I mean, we'll see where they go with this. As time rolls on, they got Field of Honor coming up, which has the New Japan talent on it coming up. Which both the cards are a little sparse right now, but I mean, Night 1 has Adam Cole and Shinsuke Nakamura on it, so you should totally want to go see that because that's two of the best in the world right now. And then Night 2's got some pretty good stuff on it too, but right now, all eyes I think are looking towards what they're going to do on television this coming week.
Yes, I agree. I'm just kind of curious, like you said, when this is, of course, seeing how Roderick is brought up again, how things are going to progress. And I'm just, I want to see where we get and what point that maybe Lethal loses one of these belts. I know we want to let him look strong for a little while, but I'm just assuming it won't be real long before we lose one of them. Do you guys expect longer than maybe 2 months? Do you think he'll lose one of those? Or is this kind of not a long-term thing, let's say, 3 months thing?
I could see this going for up until Final Battle. If they want to go that route, I could see it, changing tomorrow. Because he does have a title. He has a television title defense against Bobby Fish coming up soon. Not like I think Fish will actually lift it off of him, but the opportunity is there, as it were, with All-Star Extravaganza coming up, which is their next live pay-per-view across everything, internet, TV, whatever. I see that being the first time he's going to have to defend both belts in the same night, so they might decide to do it there. But I think they'll wait till Final Battle, honestly, to drop one.
Okay, fair enough.
I would agree on that, too. Wait till your big show to do it.
Yeah. That's exactly. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I was just that way it gives you enough time to build up whoever you want to build up to lift. I'm assuming it's going to be the TV title, but whoever you want to lift whichever belt off of them,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what I was wondering. That's why I was just kind of curious, because of the fact that if Roderick Strong was going to have a chance, and I don't know if he's going to take the world title from him, but if he was going to have another opportunity, to me it would be on a bigger show. That's why you do a time limit draw here to allow that 5-star match somewhere else. So.
Mm-hmm.
Not again. I'm getting really tired of the computer just being dumb right now.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to keep monitoring the computer, and hopefully we do not lose connection with anybody. But we need to get this thing a rating. What did you guys rate this show?
Oh, I think 7-ish. There's nothing bad on this show. There's a lot of good on this show. There's nothing like overly standout greatish though. So I think 7 is perfect.
7 works for me too. As Paul said, there's nothing overly bad. There's nothing outstanding either. I don't know that you should go spend the $15 to go buy this on demand either. So, if you're dying to watch it, maybe. But,
Yeah, and if you're a big Ring of Honor fan, you definitely want to check it out. But if you're so-so on it, you may not need to spend that $15 if you just don't have it, because let's be honest, it wasn't enough to change what's happening on TV. You're probably going to get some of the same things you've seen on TV already, so nothing major happened here. But overall, a decent show and not a bad pay-per-view. Just, there had its flaws. Okay, well, guys, that pretty much wraps up Ring of Honor for us for this pay-per-view special. But now we're going to move on and talk.
Oh my God! No, we're not moving on because the computer's freaking out again, and I can't get to the board to do anything. So we're gonna have to stall here for a second. Sorry, I'm just getting real kind of upset. Like, I'm not really doing anything that much on this computer, and it's like keeps freaking out. Okay, here we go. Sorry.
That's okay. We're still live anyway, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just looks bad later when people that are not listening to this live go, man, they have a lot of problems today.
Yeah,
just...
yeah. Okay. So we'll go ahead and continue on. We're going to talk some Hulk Hogan, guys. And what's going on with Hulk Hogan, if you don't know, is the fact that, of course, if you don't know, it's a big shock because it's been everywhere. The media, the press, everyone's been talking about it. But long story short, Hulk Hogan is now no longer an employee of WWE. They got rid of his contract. They've gotten rid of him off the Hall of Fame page. He has been stripped to completely clean off anything WWE because of the fact that there are going to be some basically some tapes revealed that have him using the N-word several times, and these are in regards to a discussion he had with someone about his daughter Brooke Hogan's boyfriend at the time. He was using these profanities in that conversation. So now it's coming out, and people are going to be hearing that probably sooner than later. Not only that, but he's also got a case coming up against Gawker, and that will be, I think, not long from now, and that involves his sex tape. So lots of stuff that WWE really doesn't want to be tied to. We've got a lot of other people joining in. TNA now is no longer going to have a Hulk Hogan DVD that they were going to release. They're not having him on anything TNA. Which I don't know if is as big as a deal. His history there isn't as prolific as it is in WWE. But, this is interesting for the fact that we've learned a lot more. This conversation that he had was 8 years ago, and now he's paying the price for what he was doing 8 years ago. That's what interested me more than anything with this, guys, because I know all of us aren't perfect. We've said things or done things maybe we weren't wanting anybody else to know about. And if it happened to us, how would we feel? That's the way I kind of look at this thing. But overall, what do you think about this? Did any of these organizations do wrong by Hulk Hogan?
Personally, I don't think so. When you're an organization as large as WWE and you appeal to so many different people, and you have to worry about image things like this where one of your older guys and one of your top stars that you've ever had associated with you suddenly becomes out, and whether he's actually a racist or not or whatever, the fact is he said these words, and here we are, and you just can't be associated like that. It affects everything that you do having guys like this around. So I personally don't think they did bad. I mean, you can't take him out of the Hall of Fame, which I've heard rumblings that could happen, but cutting ties with him and all that, I think is the correct business move here.
If you take him out of the Hall of Fame, WWE is now the most hypocritical company that there is. They are ridiculous if they take him out of the Hall of Fame. Jimmy Snuka pretty much killed someone. He's in there. There are many other situations where people have done some pretty crappy things and they're in the Hall of Fame still. He didn't hurt anyone. He just said something that shouldn't have been said 8 years ago. I don't think it's wrong for WWE to do what they did. You kind of have to. It is what it is. I mean, Hogan, he was involved in some stupid stuff then. And it kind of just went along with the same stupid stuff. Now, I'll be honest. My grandparents my grandma was, they're both old. They're from Arkansas. I remember my grandpa, who wasn't as bad as my grandma about this. My sister in high school went through this thing where she was really into rap and all that stuff, and she had a lot of black guy friends, and I remember my grandpa saying something sort of similar, not to that ridiculous extent that Hogan did, but something to that extent, sort of, because of his age and the differences of whatever. And I didn't understand that at the time. I didn't even think about it like that. But I think there comes a point where he's a public figure. He shouldn't say that, but we also have to understand that also goes beyond the whole old person saying things because they come from a different era. And that's why I think WWE had to pull the trigger on kind of disassociating themselves from that. Had it been something like that where he just voiced his displeasure about the fact that he didn't like that Brooke might be dating someone of a different race or whatever, okay, but he went far beyond that, I think. So it is what it is. Like I said, the Hall of Fame thing is absolutely ridiculous. If they take him out, they got to go take out a bunch of other people. Mm-hmm. And I think it's funny that there's a lot of black wrestlers that have come out and supported Hogan. And I just don't believe that he's a total, like, racist either, you know? I think that there's just part of this that it was the situation that was presented. It shouldn't have been said. I don't think this is anything like what happened with the Clippers and that stupid owner. That guy was a known racist. Like, he'd said that so many times that it was like, at some point somebody was going to catch him saying it. You know, I think Hogan just kind of got caught in an unfortunate situation where somebody had it recorded.
Mm-hmm.
And they're poking at that. And it shouldn't be that way.
Exactly. I totally agree. And especially if he wasn't aware this was being recorded.
I mean, Chris doesn't talk for everyone, but he said he wasn't offended. And, you know, yeah. Chris Lemche, and he's black. So, and I've seen, it's such a mixed bag, though. You know, there are people that are really offended, and there's people that just don't care. You know, it's Hogan. They say it's Hogan being stupid, and you know, it's so. I get it. It's a public thing. You know, they're corporate. They have to do it, but I think it got overblown a little bit. You know, I don't know where you stand on that, guys, but I thought it got really overblown.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm in agreement that it was way overblown. I mean, I understand there are people that are very offended, which, you know, if something's hurtful to you, you have every right to be offended. I know Mark Henry made the reference that he was very disappointed and he was friends with Hulk Hogan, but he was just...
Booker T did as well.
Yeah.
You know, Booker T said it himself on WCW.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he said that was the wrong thing too. I mean, he said, you know, I didn't do the right thing there. That was wrong, and I get it. I know it makes a lot of sense for WWE to separate themselves from this issue, especially with everything going on in our society right now. You know, we're seeing, you know, the Confederate flag situation being big. We're seeing, you know, a lot of racial tensions with this church shooting and other things that are going on in our society right now.
The stuff in Baltimore. I mean,
all the riots.
Yeah, that's part of it. What it is, right? It's that it's a big deal right now. It's the same thing if he would have said something about homosexuals or whatever right now, it would have been the same thing because we just had the stuff get passed and all the crap that happened from that. You know, the people that would get blasted because they had the rainbow colored picture in their Facebook profile, which is stupid. Not the picture, the people that are getting mad about people having a picture in their Facebook profile. Like, who gives a crap? It's their picture. Like, you know?
That's always about to get a bunch of hate mail.
No, if I wanted to make my profile picture blue, does it matter? Like, it's just, it's dumb, you know?
Agreed.
People just get, some people want to complain about everything, you know? And they just...
Here's the thing, and I agree on the fact that this is Hulk Hogan. He has every right to be the person he wants to be. I use this analogy with people a lot. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, and I am not a Redskins fan at all. That would probably be one of the last teams I would choose if I was ever going to try to wear a jersey or even support. But I've got Redskins fans. I've got a couple of them that I really think are awesome people, and I think a lot of them. I don't agree with their fandom. I think it's disgusting. But on the other hand, I respect them, and I am friends with them, and I think they're great people. But just because I make fun of their teams, I make fun of them, you know, they understand I'm joking. They understand, but that's a personal thing. Now, if I said that to some random guy in D.C., he has every right to be offended. The same way with me, if I heard, oh, you hit Cowboys fan, you must be chewing tobacco and living in a trailer park. You know, that'd be kind of offensive, you know, if someone in New York said that to me, because I think you don't know me. You don't know who I am. So I get it, you know, and I totally understand where this is hurtful. And WB has every right as a public traded company to step away from this and say, look, we are not associated with this guy. I think they've done everything right except the Hall of Fame thing. There's no way you can erase one of the cornerstones of your company.
Yeah, because this isn't like Benoit. He didn't hurt anyone. He hurt himself. He made himself look stupid. He hurt WWE, yes. He hurt WWE. But what he has done for WWE does not get removed because he said this. Like, that's really idiotic and stupid if WWE is going to be like, okay, this guy just doesn't exist anymore, because it's like, you know what, the guy's going to be, hopefully this means he watches what he says in interviews and whatever, and he's probably going to be saying I'm sorry for a really long time now. But it's just, there are so many there are people that have done really crappy things that are in that Hall of Fame right now, and they don't even touch what Hogan did. So I mean, just it's ridiculous.
It is very ridiculous, and you know, from what I'm hearing, WB they're working with Lucasfilms and production company. They're currently working on the network right now, and they are going to CGI in John Cena against Andre the Giant apparently at WrestleMania 3.
Yeah.
So
Andre the Giant wrestled a ghost.
No, it's John Cena is going to be put in for Hulk. So John Cena is going to be the one picking him up, and yeah. I'm kidding, of course.
Breaking his his whatever muscle that was that he broke, and
I kid, but no, you know, I'm sorry, Paul. Paul hasn't really chimed in or really had the opportunity. Some of the things, you know, interesting about this whole discussion is the fact that, you know, we've seen WB, you know, they're a publicly traded company, like I said, and they're basically their stockholders and all that. $50 million was lost because their stock went from like $16 to $14. And so they lost money there. And then you look at it, the fact that it's just not from the financial standpoint. We're looking at guys like Curtis Axel, who was going with the gimmick of Axel Mania. And we know Damian Sandow was doing this Macho Man gimmick. You know, they were kind of using that for both these guys. Now, there's no way in heck Curtis Axel is going to be doing that anymore. So he'll be having to find something else to do now, and him and Sandow will probably change gimmicks again. What do you think about, you know, this whole thing, Paul, though? I mean, I know you've already kind of talked about a little bit about it, but kind of give me your thoughts on this whole situation and how it's got a ripple effect on this company right now.
Yeah, I mean, you just mentioned it. I mean, it's going to have effects on screen with admittedly limited, because they haven't used Axel and Sandow a lot on television recently, but I'm sure it's going to change what they were doing with them. They lost money, obviously, because nobody's going to invest in a company that has a very popular racist in it. So, I mean, this is exactly what you would expect, I think, in a company, and they made the right move. They're going to lose some money short term. Hopefully they'll make it back, you know, but it's just...
Were you disappointed?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm disappointed. I mean, it's a business thing. Hogan made himself look stupid. He got the company in a lot of trouble, so he lost his job. That's how it works, you know?
But the network dropped Rock and Wrestling. I know that was one of your favorite shows.
Oh, you know I live for Rock and Wrestling.
Yeah, the one whole episode that they aired of Rock and Wrestling, because no one watched it, so they figured nobody ever wanted to watch that cartoon again, which was so dumb.
I read they made a big deal about that, and like, no one cared.
Yeah.
So what about this, you know, that 2005 segment with Vince where he calls Booker T N-word a few times and whatever. I mean, isn't that sort of pot calling the kettle there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but now aren't we talking about the guy who owns the joint?
Mm-hmm.
It's not an employee anymore making your company look bad. It's the owner, and you can't do a lot about the owner, especially when he has so much control over everything that you're doing, both on screen and off.
Yeah.
Do we really think that... I have a feeling that I know it has to do with the National Enquirer or whatever, who, you know, they themselves are, you know,
Iffy.
worse than TMZ, but apparently this Gawker thing with the whole sex tape with Hogan, it's possible they might have been the ones to leak it. I wonder if this is going to become a much bigger deal than just WWE here. Do you think that there's so do you think that we'll see like Hogan back ever again, or is there going to be a time where this is done?
I guess it depends on how the lawsuit with Gawker goes. honestly, you're not going to see him again short term. Like 5 years, probably still not going to see him. Maybe. I mean, the way he left the last time wasn't exactly under great circumstances either, if I remember correctly. So, I can only shake my head and say who knows, but it won't be. I guarantee you, it won't be in the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, he's been back after a few things, like, when he basically was on the stand against Vince McMahon and that big whole federal government, situation with Vince, and then he also took off and went to the rival. Bless you. The rival WCW, and tried to make sure to put out WWF out of business at the time. And Hogan had, a lot going for him, I guess, to an extent at that time, but Vince still welcomed him back, even though he did a few of those things. And now this is going on, and this is hurting Vince to an extent, if you want to be honest, because now not only is he losing one of the icons, the guy that, kind of really helped their business run, now he's having to kind of back away from him so far. I just don't know. I personally think that Hulk Hogan will be back again. I really do. It's going to be so hard to keep him away. It's just like Paul said. It'll be 5 years. It'll be a long time. Don't think it's going to happen and next year you're going to see Hulk Hogan on WWE television. It's going to be a while. They need a healing process, and it's going to come to a time where when you hear that music play again, you're going to be like, wow, I can't believe he's back. I don't remember the last time he was on TV. That's how long it's going to be before you see him. And one interesting thing about this Gawker case, too, is, you mentioned it, Sean. Gawker could have been the ones releasing this audio, and I think it's funny that Hulk Hogan's attorney had mentioned that if it is them and they find out that it is Gawker, that they're going to bury Gawker. So I don't know how they think they're going to do that. They've already had some trials and tribulations trying to defeat Gawker in the first place. The one thing that I know that they're going to contact someone who's really good at burying people. So Cena has already been in contact with his attorney.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah. But see, the thing with me is, like, didn't he do a bunch of stuff for Virgil, and didn't he do? He had that whole thing with. He wouldn't have wanted to work with Dennis Rodman if he was a racist in WCW. I mean, like, the guy had creative control then. He could have said, hell no, I'm not working with that guy.
Yeah, and Rodman said he's not a racist.
I just, the people that want to jump on it, he says dumb things. No doubt Hogan is probably the guy that has said the stupidest things ever in so many interviews. He makes up stories that never happen. He is crazy. But I think the people that are just out there to be like, oh my God, I knew it all along. He was terrible. He's a horrible person. He's a this. Like, haven't we all said something? We just don't have cameras. We just don't have recorders all in our faces. We all are not that we're like completely different beasts when we're not on this show or whatever, but I'm sure we've all had a moment where we said something and we really wish we didn't say it. Or we had to say I'm sorry. Or we all did something and we didn't really particularly... I know I did. I could probably say things that probably get me in trouble if I said certain things on this show. We've all been there. And I think the people that are just totally blasting the guy are just ridiculous. And yeah, maybe I'm a little bit partial because he's somebody we grew up with and it's hard to want to see him get totally knocked out like that of the company, but I just think that, again, this has been totally it was nasty what he said. It was wrong what he said. What he's getting now, he deserves because the company is what it is right now, but I think to completely blacklist him is crazy. But I get that they have to do that now, right now, this instant.
Yeah, I mean, each of us have our own opinions about things. We all have our way of life, you know. And one of the guys that was just on a show recently, Jacob San Antonio, awesome guy. We love talking wrestling with him. And if you're personal friends with him, or if you're on his Facebook page as friends, you know that guy has lots of opinions, and he has lots of strong opinions. But it doesn't mean that everybody shares any opinions. But that's okay. That's what he wants to say. And you know, but there's a difference is that he's not a public figure, and some of the things he says may not go over popular with maybe being a public figure, or maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But you know, that's the difference here between us and Hulk Hogan is they know he's a public figure, and people are going to kill him if he just says one thing wrong. Whereas if we did it, well, no, that guy's an idiot. You know. So, I don't know. I feel bad for Hulk in a way, and in a way I kind of think, man, I just really wish he wouldn't have made those kind of choices. But that's, once again, you know, probably something that he was upset. You know, at the same time, I mean, people aren't really looking at this. At the same time, this guy was going through a lot at the time. I mean, his son was not far from that car accident. He was getting a divorce. There's lots of things going on in that guy's life. He was losing his reality TV show, I believe, at that time. Lots of different things are going on in his life at this point, and hey, I mean, we all know how it is to be stressed out. You say things you don't mean. I mean, I know when I'm tired and I'm ready to be left alone, I'll say dumb things. You know, that's the way it works. I mean, that's why.
When we're all upset or not in a good mood, I mean, I've probably said something crappy to my 4-year-old because I want her to like leave me alone so I can have a 30-minute time to like take a nap. And I'm like, you know, and I feel terrible afterwards, you know, because she doesn't understand. You know, she doesn't like know what's going on or whatever. Yeah. But you know, we all go through that. It's just exactly. And you know, and then in all of this, we completely forgot to talk about the ROH thing with Destination America.
Oh yeah, you're right, and that was my fault. I just got a little. When we were having technical problems, I got a little concerned and jumped from one thing to the next. So you know, we'll move on from this Hulk Hogan thing. The one thing we will say is real quick that you know this is an ongoing story. The more information we find out, we will get back into this. If it is need be on Thursday. Now, if there's no more information, we may not jump back into this because we've already talked about it now. But if there is more further information that comes out between now, which is Sunday night, and until Thursday, we will release that on our Thursday show. But yes, Sean, you're completely right. We didn't talk about Ring of Honor and the Destination America situation that they're going through now. Apparently, Destination America, you know, they've tried to make some changes to please themselves and their audience, of course. They have dropped Ring of Honor from the primetime spot of 8 p.m. Eastern. They feel like that really they're not doing very well as the opener to TNA Impact. So they've moved them off that, and they're still keeping their 11 p.m. spot. So right after Impact, you will have Ring of Honor. But right now, you know, it's just one of those weird things where they're putting on new shows like I believe it's Mountain Monsters and Bigfoot. There's a Bigfoot show that's going to be on this upcoming week. Sean has said it plenty of times. Me and Sean have talked. I think even Paul. It's the fact of the matter is, it's interesting that really Ring of Honor has not been that successful as a lead-in show to TNA Impact, which is interesting to me because I think we would all agree at times Ring of Honor in that 1 hour is just really good compared to what Impact has been. What do you guys think about this, though? Do you think this is a fair move for Destination America?
I often wonder if Destination America even knows what the hell they're doing. This seems really silly. But then again, they're giving ROH the platform. I guess they can do with it what they want. But I don't get them. They seem like they really want to jump the gun. Like they're expecting so much, and then they jump the gun really fast. So maybe this just isn't the right network for wrestling because it's going to take time for people to find this, and it's not like they're the biggest channel ever, although maybe they think they're bigger than they are, which is possible. So, I don't know. It just seems really premature.
Yeah, you know, we talked about how after the New Japan shows, their ratings have really dropped. I think that, for one, because this isn't the first run on Destination America, it really hurts because there's not an introduction show to really get you to know who these characters are if you're watching it for the first time. Most people that watch ROH are going to watch it on their local affiliate unless they have no way of watching it, in which case they'll either buy their ringside thing, wait till Thursday to when it's free, or just find another way to watch it, because most probably they don't even have Destination America either. Destination, can't talk today. But yeah, I mean, well, we got to remember, DA is not the easiest channel to find. I mean, they're not as bad as Access TV, but hey, I mean, like we said on the Thursday show, that Access TV thing's working out for New Japan. They're getting way more viewers. I mean, they're almost getting they're getting more viewers than ROH, and they're getting really close to the same, close to viewers as TNA. So, I think for one, we've shown that the replay doesn't do that bad when it comes after TNA. So I think that maybe you tell everybody that it's on at 11, and maybe you'll get the full people watching at 11. The problem is here too, again, Destination America does no promotion for this show. Absolutely zilch, zero. Okay? How the hell are people supposed to know that Ring of Honor is on at 8 o'clock if they don't know it exists on your channel? They know TNA exists. They know TNA is there at 9 o'clock because you promote it, because you do things with it. You make it a part of your programming. The reason they know it comes on at 11 is because they might stay sitting there a couple of minutes after TNA goes off and go, oh, there's another wrestling show? Cool. Let me watch this. Okay? If you're turning on TNA at 9, you have no idea that ROH was just on. I mean, unless you turn on like at 8:55 and see if there's a wrestling show. This is on Destination America too. They need to stop acting like they have done so much for ROH. And remember that this is on you at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest too, ROH's production doesn't lend them to like be the most casual audience friendly show. Okay, can we all like admit that? Because when we watch this show, it looks like somebody's having a house show somewhere and there's just these great wrestlers on it. Like, it's not. TNA's production level is much better than ROH's, and the difference is clear when you watch both shows. It still feels very much like, the local indie product that you could watch on your local TV station at times. Mm-hmm. Except for the fact that it's an HD. And it really sucks. I wish that Sinclair would invest the money it would take to really make that thing look better, but they don't want to. And it hurts you from a TV perspective for casual viewers. You have to take that into effect.
Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, ROH. Let's not cross our wires here. ROH has never been a casual fan wrestling promotion. When they bring in these bigger name guys, they very much expect that you've already watched them before. Or if they bring in overseas guys like New Japan, they very much expect you've watched them before. They cater to the wrestling heavy watchers. They smarks, internet guys, whatever you want to call them, just guys who love wrestling. Right.
Yeah. No, you're right.
It's like NXT, but when I watch NXT, it's easy on the eyes as far as the everything else around it.
Oh yeah, I mean they got $1 billion company behind them. Yeah. It's not ROH who's worked its way up from performing in rec centers to where it is now.
Yeah, but ROH also has $1 billion company behind them.
That's not invested in them,
Yeah.
It's very much still the ROH show featuring Sinclair. It's not Sinclair Broadcasting presents ROH.
Yeah, very much the truth. And, you can look at the product how you want to look at it. But just watching Ring of Honor, watching their backstage segments, it very much reminds me of watching if you guys ever watched the Denton TV, public access, you remember those XPW shows. I think was it XPW, I believe that was the name of it,
Yeah,
right?
it was
Yeah.
XCW. I think
XCW, yeah, you're right, XCW, and you'd see there. Of course, Ring of Honor has a way better in-ring video, but their backstage segments are very much the same as those XCW
Yeah,
shows.
it's them in front of a screen.
Yeah,
talking.
Exactly. I mean, Sean, you wrestled PCW, and you know how that was. And
that was terrible though. You were in a dark thing.
Mm-hmm.
You were in this dark backstage area just talking. It was terrible. But or if you were in the ring or whatever. But it was just it's a better production quality. But it's something we saw. David and Zach do it for the Dirt Sheets videos. I mean, you're sitting in front of a screen. They're standing in front of a screen talking. I mean, you can obviously tell it's the same screen for everybody. It makes you laugh sometimes. But it's cool. It's fine. It's ROH. You're not there to watch the production. You're there to watch the wrestling. And to be fair, they might have the best commentators of all the wrestling promotions.
Mm-hmm. They're great.
That are active. I still think Morrow on the New Japan Access thing might have everybody beat. But as far as the active American TV shows, I think Kevin Kelly and Carino are probably the best two. We don't have Harry on to give me his heart on about Max Striker, but I just Matt Striker's cool. I just don't. There's just a thing with Matt Striker. Anyway, yeah. So to be credit to them, they are miles ahead of what they used to be. Like Paul said. I mean, I remember when I had the ringside thing, I watched like some of the stuff from 2002. It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was so bad. It was like you're like something you'd see like at a talent show. They're walking through this horribly done curtain, and they're in this like basketball gym, and it's just horrible.
Yeah. Well, saying all that, it's still, like Paul said, it is catered to the hardcore wrestling fan, the guy that doesn't care about production. All he cares about is their in-ring product and what they can do entertainment-wise. And you could definitely see, from those 2002 Ring of Honor shows to now in 2015, they've gone somewhere and they've reached a level. And I think in another 5 years, they'll probably reach another level. And we'll see. I think that, as time grows, but, Destination America, I don't think they feel like they have time to wait. Like most cable companies, they don't have time to wait and see how you do production-wise. They don't have. It's not about potential for them at times. It's more about what can you give me now. What are you going to do? What are you going to sell my advertisers? Are my advertisers going to be interested? Because if they're not interested in you, I have a UF show waiting that other people will watch, and that's just the way it is. And, USA Network, we saw the panic with them over the fact that Raw's ratings haven't been the best. We've seen them panic over Tough Enough, which is terrible. So, I mean, it's all about, that, not about loyalty. It's not anything about that. It's about making that money, and that's what they care about. So,
speaking of production, we were talking about production. Apparently, WWE talent guys were at the Tremendous show, scouting people. So,
which is this the one where William Regal and Seth Rollins were at?
Yeah. Regal, Seth Rollins, and the director of talent were there.
It's Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. If you're not familiar with the show name, listeners, it's promotion out in Southern California is where a lot of the big indie names that are on WWE now have had some time there, especially Kevin Owens. That's really where he got to start America. Sami Zayn, same thing.
Yeah, it's great. That is interesting that them scouting and getting ready. I mean, we need some new NXT stars, and they're doing their job, looking out for them. I'm excited about that.
Well, before we merge into our talk about NXT, Big Cass, Enzo, and Carmella made their debuts on a WWE house show in Odessa.
Oh man, that's awesome.
They were not at that. They were one of the few that were not at that NXT show either. So that they were actually advertised for the one in Palm Beach. So there you go. They might be Do you guys? I really wanted to see them win the NXT tag titles before they went, but it is what it is.
I tell you, I mean, if Kevin Owens is where he's at right now, what are we gonna? I mean, I'd be nervous if I was these guys. I really would.
Yeah, I would look at the Ascension and say, okay, can we?
They're not the Ascension, though.
No, but I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I love them. Don't get me wrong. These guys are awesome, but I just don't see WWE taking them serious enough.
My problem with it is they're going to clash with the New Day and the Primetime Players for that. We talk a lot, or we talk a big game more than we wrestle a big game. How many of these tag teams are you going to have? You know, and then it's like, you know, you've got it's just yeah. I wouldn't want to see, you know, New Day or Primetime Players get dropped or something because, you know, we have Enzo, and you have to wonder how Enzo and Cass and all that's going to figure, because I still worry a little bit about the whole people seeing them as a DX or a Outlaws ripoff with what they say, and maybe people not wanting to connect, but maybe I'm just being a little skeptical. I think they'll get over. It's just, it's all about how they're presented, and the way the tag team division is still kind of rebuilding. Not that NXT is that great or anything, but you know, we're not talking about this great tag team division that you add these guys in there and they're immediately stars if they beat the Primetime Players tomorrow. I mean,
yeah, I just don't see these guys being successful right off the bat. Just like Baron Corbin, yeah, he's been going through people left and right, but I just don't imagine him walking on Raw and then a month and a half later him still being that same tough, strong guy going through people. I don't know. I have a lot of fears. Not so much about Big Cass, because the Big Cass kind of fits the framework of what WB and Vince McMahon like, but I worry a ton about poor Enzo Amore. I worry a ton about Carmella, because, you know, is she really ready to meet that next level? I mean, we saw the NXT divas that were just brought up.
If she's going to be a manager, it's fine. If they're going to put her in the ring with all the other divas, she's going to be worse than Brie.
See, that's what my big concern, and you know it's going to happen sooner or later, because, I mean, management is great, but how many other managers besides Paul Heyman do we know? Not very many. They're not big on managers right now, and especially on the main roster.
Lana, I mean.
Well, Lana, but, you know, she's almost a valet to an extent.
That's the same thing.
Well, yeah, well, besides the fact that more in-ring action, but I don't know.
What do you think, Paul?
I'd be nervous. I really would be. The Divas are the only thing that's really doing anything right now as far as NXT come-ups. And Seth Rollins, if we're going that far. But as you look at recent stuff, history is not in your favor. Their presentation of new guys coming up is not in your favor. I think the NXT tag division is open for another team. You have to treat them competitively, and I think they'll get over. I've met a lot of people who think their gimmick isn't going to work in big stadiums. I think it will. I mean, it hasn't been too long since, you know, the Jersey Shore was still pulling in stupid numbers. I'm sure they'll work out just fine. It's just that when you look at how they've been booking these guys coming up, that's where the worry lies. That's where you have to, you know, pray every night and throw up some Hail Marys that they're going to treat you okay and not just throw you under the bus almost. And maybe it's just because Kevin Owens' recent stuff is still just
it's not just Kevin
bitter.
Owens, it's everybody. Like,
Dallas.
A lot of people debut strong, and then they meander and do nothing. I mean, it's cool that Neville's in this feud with Stardust, which is going to lead to Stardust going into that feud with Stephen Amell or whatever, but what's Neville really going to be doing? Then you got Bray, who's been meandering for, like, ever. And then, I mean, that's cool. He'll get to wrestle Sting, I guess, at some point here, whenever he shows up. You know, Ambrose is kind of there. I mean, at least he's in a feud now, but he's still kind of there. The only people that have really benefited from this, like you said, is right now the Divas because they're a thing. We'll have to see how long they're a thing. And Seth Rollins, and I still don't want to. I'm not gonna cast my doubt on Kevin Owens yet. I think, we know Vince loves this tear you down to bring you back up scenario. It doesn't matter where you come from. That's what he does. We just got lucky, I think, that Vince liked the Shield, or they would have gone through the same process too. But Roman Reigns is going through that process right now. Ambrose is going through that process. I don't know what it was about Rollins that they didn't do that with him, but everybody else has now gone through this where you are just there until they decide you have paid enough dues or they've come up with something wonderful for you, and then if you get that over, then great. But I almost feel like WWE has this feeling of, okay, you're over now, so it doesn't matter what we do with you, when it does matter. It's always about the next thing that you do. People are always wanting to know, what's the next thing this guy is doing and should I care about it? Especially when you're not having these great storylines that go on for a while and, there's no intrigue in a lot of this stuff that's going on. So you need to provide a logical next step for these people, and they don't seem to plan ahead with almost anyone on that roster, and it creates this blob that's just there in the middle, waiting until they are selected by the master to be the next person. It's just, like we made that joke about the Power Rangers and the Lord Zed and the Rita. That's what I feel like. Vince just looks in that crystal ball and says, which one am I going to use this month? You? All right, here you go. You are here today. Like, it's a dumb analogy, but it's I feel like that sometimes.
No, you make it's a good analogy. Another analogy where you can look at it is, when you launch a 5-year-old play with toys. Once they get a new toy, they'll play with it for a week, and then they'll be done with that, and they'll put it aside. And maybe they'll pick it up later, but right now they're just going to throw it to the side and find something else. Maybe they pick up a toy they've had for years and play with it. And, it could, you could look at it that way too. Maybe he's just, I don't know. He just has this weird way of doing things. I think sometimes. I think when you got some momentum going with a guy, keep going with it. Don't stop. Don't halt. Don't pretend like you got to tear him down. I mean, my God, there were so many Kevin Owens T-shirts being sold. People caring about this guy to an extent. And that's the big worry here. You don't want to see the young tag team like Enzo and Kaz come up and everybody like him, and the next thing you know, they're barely making superstars. That's the fear. I think that's a scary thing. So we'll have to see what happens with all of this. But I know. But you know what, Sean? You just mentioned a while ago that you didn't get a chance to see those guys over at the show that you went to. I'm just kind of curious how all that went down, man. How exciting was it being at a live NXT event? I'm kind of jealous. I've always wanted to go to one.
Well, the event was inside this little center that's in the University of Miami. It's not like the basketball arena or anything. If it is, it must have been like this little conference room, because it was really small. The seats were like literal just chairs that you're sitting in. It was really uncomfortable because you're sitting like packed in with people. You do not have room to move your arm or anything hardly. You're standing up and sitting down and being it's almost like being on a plane. That feeling. But that being said, we did get Uhaa Nation was the opener with Mike Rollins. He didn't do much, but they're calling him Uhaa, at least on the live shows. So that was cool getting to see him. He got a big Uhaa Nation chant. Aside from Bullet Club shirts, there were a lot of them, Lots of Kevin Owens shirts, and then there was kind of a mixed bag between other people. We got the Vaudevillains and Team Banff. There was no main roster. NXT Divas didn't show up. There was a triple threat between Dana Brooke, Emma, and Bailey. They made a really bad joke about Dana Brooke not knowing what she was doing. Like, she was literally just standing there, and Emma's like, pick her up! Like, it was just... I was like, wow, okay. But Bailey has to be, like, the third most over person on that roster right now, aside from Joe and Finn, because there was no reaction louder than when Bailey came out, aside from those two. Just, she was insanely over on that show. The main event was Balor against Joe. Great match. I hope that we get to see it on the main show at some point before one of them gets called up, because that is going to be awesome to see on the actual TV. Anything y'all want to know of note or anything other than?
Go ahead, Paul.
Anybody that hasn't shown up on live TV that was just out of the box impressive?
Like I said, the only one that we haven't seen is Uha, and he really didn't do much. We got to see him do the standing shooting star as a finish, and that was about it. Everything else was kind of very... It was a lot of Mike Rollins kind of beating him down and whatnot. Yeah, everybody else was who you've seen on TV. Oh, Tyler Breeze and Bull Dempsey had a really funny match with Tyler Breeze and Bull Dempsey like doing the cross ropes thing for a while so that Breeze would make Bull Dempsey get tired. And it was great. There was like somebody's like, Bull needs water, and he went out and got somebody's water bottle and drank the water, and it was some of the stuff that was chanted, and it was really silly, but some of it was like on point. They would react to it. Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I've been to a house show. I forgot how those are. But it was fun. I wish they would do more of coming down here more often. I was kind of disappointed. I wanted to see I kind of wanted to see if Charlotte or Sasha or somebody would show up, but they didn't. Yeah, I was with no Baron Corbin either. He was another one that wasn't there. Yeah, other than Enzo and Cass, I can't really think of anybody major that Sawyer Fulton. There was only Angelo Dawkins and Sawyer Fulton. And no Gable and Jason Jordan either. They were.
Aww.
I kind of wanted to see them too, and they didn't.
It's a disappointment. How is the Finn Balor entrance?
That was cool. That was awesome. The whole thing was red, and then they would have it go white for when he would do the lights, and it was really cool. It was just getting to see him. He's so small. He's so small. He's so short, and Joe. It was cool seeing Joe. I've never seen Joe, so getting to see Joe and him do all his stuff is pretty awesome. The dual chants for both of them was awesome. So it was really, really cool. Just getting to see all that. So.
Yeah. I'm sure the crowd was pretty hyped too. I mean, just being in it, I know they're not too far from their home base, but I'm sure the crowd was pretty hyped for that show.
Yeah, there was. It was packed. There was not an open seat. It's just packed from the way you're sitting too. They had a merch stand outside. I took pictures. I put all the pictures on the W2M Facebook page. The Vaudevillains were cool. They came out. There was a little guardrail where the wrestlers would walk when they came out and sign autographs or whatever in the intermission. And then because Balor and Joe was the last match, they had Balor and Joe kind of be out there, and they were talking to people and everything. So that was cool to kind of see their interactions with people and how nice Finn is. He was just really talking to everyone and talking about Bullet Club, and I think he signed somebody's shirt, the Bullet Club shirt, and all that stuff. It is, like I said, it's been so long since I've been to one of these shows that you really get to see how these guys and girls are, and it's it really seems you really get to see like what the next crop of talent's going to be. That's what I got most out of it. Was if they hit with about half of these, they're going to be fine with talent for a long while. Because if they can figure out how to get the crop that's there now from NXT to work, and then you get this other crop working, I know that they're going to bring other people, but they're going to be okay. They're going to be just fine.
Yeah. That is awesome, man.
I would definitely encourage you. My tickets cost like $30. If they come to your town, which they're supposed to be coming to Texas pretty soon, go. It's enjoyable. It's an enjoyable like 2 or 3 hours. You'd be dumb not to go. Even if you don't really pay attention to NXT, just go. It's not gonna hurt you at all.
Yeah, I know I would definitely be interested in going, and I'm sure, Paul, you probably would be up to going, especially if they come to near this area. That'd be a blast. I'm really looking forward to it when they do come. I know at WrestleMania time they're coming, and I cannot wait to go to that show.
Yeah.
That's going to be too much.
That's the only one that's going to suck, because the two major ones have already announced what they're doing, and you know NXT is going to wait and wait and wait, and, you know, it's going to suck to try to schedule that.
Mm-hmm. They will, but I'm sure we're going to find a way.
Yeah,
I'm sure we will. We'll make sure.
I'm buying my ROH and Shimmer tickets tomorrow, so.
Oh, awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
So,
Gary, we got to figure out when we're doing that so we can get them, like, together or something.
Yeah, we do. We need to get our tickets soon, so. But anyway, well, that's awesome. Great to hear about your NXT experience, Sean. So we're going to move on from that, though, and we need to finish out this show talking a little G1. I know you've been covering it from start until right now at this point. I know you think you get a day off tomorrow. But, you know, kind of tell us, you know, what's going on in the G1 right now, Sean.
Well, I mean, now the computer decides it wants to freak out again. But, yeah, I think definitely it's starting to pick up steam. You know, we've had 5 nights of it now. They are taking a break tomorrow. Then they're going to pick up on Tuesday and Wednesday. Nakamura got hurt on night 4. We still don't know. He was pulled from the tag match he was supposed to be in. Which apparently Taguchi is undefeated in all these tag matches. He is like 5 or 6-0. So if he was in the G1, he'd be like winning right now. He's actually not doing too bad, to be honest. He's kind of sort of growing on me. You know who somebody else is growing on me? Michael Elgin is continuing to be awesome on this tour. He is getting more of his... I don't know if this is good or bad, depending on how big of an Elgin fan you are. He's getting more of his spots in, which some people think that he shouldn't have that many spots. He's doing like the top rope like code breaker, and that's how he lost to Kojima, which was an actually like really cool moment. Like he goes to he jumps off to try to do the code breaker, and then Kojima just freaking lariats the crap out of him in midair. It was nice finish. Carl Anderson getting to surprise so far. His matches haven't been, that much shine on them, but he's winning. And the midair gun stun to the reversal of the Shouting Kai was awesome. Goto, both Goto and Nakamura haven't really impressed that much. Nakamura seems really disinterested until he gets to like the end. Like he's been really having these like really slow build up matches with Nagata and the other one that he had with Anderson. They were both really slow. Then he really heats up when he gets to the the ending, the one with Nagata, they had a really awesome ending sequence. But and then Goto too. I mean, one of Goto's matches was with Yujiro, which no one's ever gonna look good against Yujiro. It was just, Yujiro probably had to have one of the worst matches with Goto I've ever seen. Just, it was so boring. Like, talk about a guy that gets dead silence, guys. Like, he does something and he just, no one cares. Like, it's so bad.
Oh my goodness.
They also had audio problems during Night 5. It was hilarious. You could clearly hear the producer talking over the commentators. He was like, "Can you hear me? 1, 2. Could you?" And it's really loud. It's just,
wow.
In fact, they haven't posted the undercard matches in Night 5 because of that. They don't want to post them because they're that bad. Not that they're bad. The audio problems are that bad. As far as matches that you need to watch, Ibushi and AJ put on a classic this morning. It was absolutely insane good. Go watch this. You thought their invasion attack match was awesome. This was better. Just so much good stuff. Counters, and Ibushi gets the win with the move that AJ countered, which is a great story to end it on there. Just AJ has been probably the standout, along with Tanahashi of the tournament so far. Just great matches, every single one. AJ just is on another level when it comes to wrestling right now. He's like, everything he does is just spot on. His everything, just pacing, everything. Just, you want to watch. The match he has with Yano was great, because just the stuff they did in the match was great. Just awesome. Also, Yano got busted open really bad this morning because Tenzan did a diving headbutt and he actually hit him, and Yano was busted open all over his face. There's a picture of his scar with the stitches. It is nasty. Right in the middle of his forehead. And Tenzan was busted open too. Just, ugh.
Wow.
Not for the squeamish. Shibata's been pretty awesome too. He keeps having good matches with everybody. His match with Naito was really good. He was having none of Naito being, I don't care, Naito. He was like, no, screw you, I don't have time for this. I want to just beat the crap out of you. He took off his bandage and the crowd just went nuts. It just, he does his sleeper and penalty kick thing, and it works, and it's really good. Him and Makabe had a nice slugfest this morning too. Naito cemented his heel character today against Tanahashi. This is another match you need to go watch. Tanahashi and Naito, just awesome. Great psychology the whole time. Naito works on Tanahashi's neck. He actually does a neck breaker to a table, and you can see the dent of Tanahashi's head in that table, because New Japan's tables don't break. So, and he keeps working on it. Then Tanahashi starts working on his leg, and then Naito, just in the middle of it, just says, screw this. I'm not going to keep working on the neck. I don't care. And he just beats him with this new finisher that he has. And then at the end, he's like, I am no longer New Japan. I am ingobernable. And yeah, he just does his eye thing with it's just awesome. You should watch it, Gary, because his character now is just, he has so much more personality. I think you care about him more now because you want to see what other thing he's going to do where he doesn't care. Mm-hmm. And how he's going to piss off people and stuff. It's really amazing. I didn't think I would get into it, and he really has sold me on that. Just great stuff from him.
Yeah, just the mustache alone is intimidating.
Truly.
And he has new attire too. With it's black and it says Ingobernable Naito or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he tells everybody to to be patient or just calm down. Or he's always like tranquilo. Just it's great stuff from him. And also, Hanma and Okada had a really good match on night 4. It was the main event. Okada just really, I love the fact that like both Tanahashi and Okada like understand when there's no point of trying to fight against like something that, you know, sometimes Cena gets and sometimes Cena doesn't get. Like when there's times where Cena understands, okay, no matter what I do, people are not going to cheer me this match, so let me just work the heel route. Tanahashi and Okada both understand that there's certain times, like his match with Tenzan. Tenzan is, you know, a Kyoto, this is hometown, so he was getting crazy cheers or whatever. So Tanahashi said, well, screw this. I'm not going to worry about trying to make sure I play to the crowd or whatever. I'm just going to do my thing, make sure Tenzan looks awesome, and he does. Okada does the same thing with Hanma. He works on the neck to work with the Rainmaker or whatever, but he also makes sure that Hanma's the one soaking in all the cheers. People are really going for it. They work the counter so that people would really believe that Hanma's going to win. They did a really cool job with. There was one, he does the Fire Thunder Driver, and people bid on it really hard. It was this has been really fun to watch, especially being on Twitter with people, because it doesn't get flooded with crazy stuff like the WWE things. So you get to actually talk to people, because there's not that many people awake at 5 in the morning.
Right.
And like you get to see what people really think about things, and then the crazy people that get really upset about certain things, you know, like the ridiculous, like when in that first night where everybody got crazy about Ibushi not sewing the leg. That was all over Twitter for some reason, and just some of the other stuff, like some people that have lost and they didn't care for it, and they would really go off on it and stuff. Just it's been a cool experience, I think. The only thing that bothers me is I'm spending my time writing, and then people are taking their sweet ass time to actually post the stuff on the website, which is my only problem with it. Which makes me wish I would have like just, you know, given it to the people that I know would have posted it. Like I know I would have just sent an email to Larry saying, hey, it's just posted, and he would have posted it, because I probably wrote the review a lot earlier than Larry would have. So I don't want to say anything bad about them. I understand it's a different situation or whatever, but it kind of sucks when you're awake at 5 in the morning. You got to work in like 5 hours. You're going to go to no sleep at work, and you make sure that you get all this stuff done in a good amount of time, and it's now midnight and it's still not there, you know, and it's bothersome, you know, because I can do something else. I can sleep for one. So that's the only thing, you know. I know I'm behind on the podcast stuff. I'll do that tomorrow since I'm off and get everybody caught up podcast way. But I do have all 5 nights written and reviews posted. The first 3 are out. Just go to Last Word on Sports and click the sports part with click Pro Wrestling, and they all should be there. You might have to scroll a little bit, but yeah. So I'm just going to keep doing this Tuesday and Wednesday, and then thankfully, thank God, they take 2-day break, and I don't have to do the insanity that was Thursday. That was absolutely insane.
Oh, man.
Doing the 2 podcasts, then basically not sleeping, staying up to watch the whole thing, writing the review, and then having to go to work at like an hour later. That was, ugh.
I don't know how you didn't die when you got home from work.
I think I slept for a little bit. I don't remember what
Did you?
I did.
Oh, man. That'd be so hard. Wow. Well, we're glad you at least made it so far, and that is awesome. And definitely, please, you know, whatever is out there on the net that Sean's posted and written, you need to go check that out, read it. Go check out the podcast that he has posted. Those are all under the Wrestling to the Max umbrella. You can definitely go back and listen to those episodes. They're really great. And you should definitely make sure you find any of our content besides our Thursday show, this is one of those things. If you're listening now, this isn't the first we've done. We've done plenty of them. So you can go back and listen to all the different pay-per-views reviews we've done this year.
We do these for every WWE pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're not doing the G1, every big New Japan Sunday event, and when ROH has a show pay-per-view, or TNA is probably not having another pay-per-view. I don't care what they say about Bound for Glory. But who knows? Maybe they do. But yeah, I mean, GFW might have a pay-per-view at the rate they're going.
They need a TV taping that actually hits the network before we can actually.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe they do. Yeah, just that'd be nice if you rate and review us. That'd be once again, they're coming in, so thank you to people who do. Just go on iTunes, put your 1 to 5 stars, write a little sentence or two about the show, whether it's negative or positive, and let us know what you think, so that other people can see this show, hear it, and do the same thing. It's been crazy to try to do all this stuff. So I've been meaning to get back into the whole asking people questions so that we can have questions to answer on the show. But it's just trying to get all this stuff together that we're doing between the G1, between this show, between what we're doing with the sports show right now, where we're about to take that to another level when the football season starts. Just a lot of stuff going on. Plus all of our personal live things too.
Exactly. I mean, all of our lives have been picking up, and of course, Paul's busier than ever right now, and all of us are just working hard and trying to keep our head above water, as well as make sure we have shows that entertain you, but not only that, inform you. If you're not able to watch shows, or maybe you do watch shows and you just want some feedback, we're able to be there and do that, and do it pretty close to real time. Right there, right following a pay-per-view, right there following all those Wednesday night shows. We're just the night after. So, make sure you come and check out all the content we have to offer. We're definitely, ready to talk about anything you guys want to talk about as well. If you do have any questions, post those on the Facebook group or email us at wrestlingtothemax@gmail.com. You can also find us, on that phone number, 972-591-8620. You can leave a voicemail. That's right. It's not just about calling in live. You can call in and leave a voicemail, and hey, let your opinions be known, and we definitely want to hear them. So a lot of great ways to contact us, and of course, if you want us to do something special, let us know, and maybe we can see if we can work it out or do anything, or all that great stuff. So enough said on that stuff. We would just thank you for listening to this show. It's been a lot of fun. Probably went longer than we expected to. We just had a lot of great stuff to talk about tonight, and a lot of interesting conversations. So
I will say, I miss you guys because it feels really awkward doing those things on myself.
No.
I always think that I should have Paul to ask a question to or something, and I don't. So I'm just going off my memory, trying not to have too many awkward moments going through that. It's just but
no, definitely. And I don't know, Paul, I don't know how much of the G1 you've gotten to check out so far. Have you got to check any of it out yet? Paul?
Did we lose him?
I don't know. We may have lost him.
I don't know how that happened.
Okay.
No, I've watched night one. That's all I've gotten.
Okay, that's fine. Like I said, Paul's been busy. He's got a lot of things going on. And, I'm really excited about listening to when Paul gets a chance to check out more of him, his take on him as well. Because this guy
What's cool is the format too. Format is really easy to digest. No, it's not the behemoth that it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. So,
what did you watch night one when we talked about it on Thursday, or did you watch it after Thursday?
I watched it after. I watched it a little bit yesterday when I got home. I watched it some today before I got to Death Before Dishonor.
Any thoughts or anything?
I mean, the main event was amazing. there's just personally, as far as everything I've read, there hasn't been anything like too terrible on the show. Some of the upsets surprised me. Like Naito beating Tanahashi was fairly impressive today. Just reading about that, so.
Yeah, that was especially because like the cool thing is whoever wins the main event, they get to close out the show with a promo or something. So like Anderson got to do it for night 2 when he beat Nakamura, and then Naito got to do it today, and it was cool because it's just like Naito getting to basically, like I said, just I have arrived as far as my heel character now. So it'll be interesting to see. I'll be more interested to see him when we're done with the G1. And see where else this goes, like what feud he's going to get into and stuff like that. And I'm also very excited. We're going to get. I don't know if I explained. I think we explained I don't know if I explained this to you, Gary. If you beat one of the champions, you get a title shot. So like Shibata beat Makabe today, so that means we're going to get another title shot at some point between Shibata and Makabe, and that's going to be awesome.
And Anderson beat Goto, so that's a thing too.
Yeah, former tag team partners. So,
man, yeah, that's gonna be awesome. I'm looking forward to that. And this whole tournament's really great. I remember we kind of talked about this last year, and once again we're getting back into it, and it just seems like it's getting year by year better every time. So. Looking forward to it, and looking forward to hearing more information from you guys and getting to find out more about what's going to happen leading up to the finals. So,
hope to God Nakamura's not really hurt.
Yeah, that'd be terrible.
Would not be the first time that the planned-on winner, if he is the planned-on winner, has gotten hurt and having to fall out. Because I'm pretty sure Goto was supposed to win the year before the year that Naito won, and he ended up getting hurt pretty seriously and had to leave the whole G1 tournament. So,
and then it messes up the whole story they're trying to tell too, because it messes up where he had all the wins scheduled and losses for everybody. So lots of work that Geto has to do if Nakamura's really badly injured. Plus, I wanted to see Elgin and Nakamura. So,
yeah. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully it's nothing too bad. Honestly. So, but, well, anyway, guys, I think that pretty much wraps up our discussion about the G1. There's a ton more of information that'll be coming out. Don't worry, we'll be covering it. We'll probably talk some more on Thursday about the G1. So, anything that you get a chance to see this week or you don't get a chance to see, we'll be talking about this Thursday night. And that's right. If you're a first-time listener, we have a Thursday night show. We cover everything in wrestling, really. We talk Monday Night Raw. We talk NXT, TNA Impact. We also cover Ring of Honor and Lucha Underground. So we cover pretty much everything, plus all the big news topics. It's usually around a 3-hour show unless we get really crazy and try to hit a 4-hour, but we try to keep it 3 hours. But it's just a great, fun, entertaining show to come check out. And, of course, we have people call in and get involved, and it's a lot of fun. So if you are a first-time listener, don't forget we have a regular show on Thursday nights, and it's usually on demand on Fridays. So we're looking forward to catching you guys there. Sean, is there anything you want to say, plug, anything before we get out of here?
No. Thank you to everybody that listened to the sports show. It did pretty well this week. We're doing the AFC North this Thursday. And Randy is previewing one of the Big Ten divisions. And and then we'll be hitting the NFC, and in a couple weeks here we'll have a preseason game to talk about. I believe we're already talking about football season being here. Wow. It feels like this summer has flown by, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
Oof, that's crazy. Hall of Fame games coming soon. So, anyway, guys, it's been great. And, of course, we'll reconvene on Thursday night. But until then, I want everybody to always remember, if you're not living life to the max,
not living life at all.
You know it.
Peace.
Later.